My husband is reluctant to be intimate with me after I was in a major accident. I 30 have been married to my husband 45 for 5 years and together for 8. Obviously, we have an age gap in our relationship. And whenever we discussed possible health issues or medical care, it was regarding him. About 4 months ago, I was in a car accident. I was talking on Bluetooth to my husband because I was nervous driving on the icy roads going to our house when another car rounded a corner too fast and lost control. It was one of those exact wrong moment things, and my car went off the road and into a tree. My husband heard the whole thing, and my last memory before I lost consciousness was him screaming my name. I don't want to get into the bloody details, but I ended up being in the hospital for over a month. I needed multiple surgeries and have been in physical therapy ever since. I am finally getting to a point where I feel like myself again and I am no longer in pain. I've gained back some weight and look good if I do say so myself. My husband literally worked out of my hospital room for the entire time I was there. He went home to shower, sleep, and look after the dogs, then came right back. He attended all my therapy appointments so he would know how to better help me recover at home. He was amazing, and everything I could ask him to be in that kind of horrible situation. I love him so much, and so yesterday while shopping, I saw this gorgeous black lingerie set and decided to surprise him. We haven't had sex since before the accident. And every time I try, it feels like he makes an excuse or expresses some concern about some random body part of mine that is no longer injured. He was on his laptop in bed when I came in wearing my new purchases, and I could tell he was taken by surprise. I basically crawled into his lap and started kissing his neck and grinding on him. He was definitely hard, but then he lost it and pushed me away, saying that we shouldn't rush this and he doesn't want to jeopardize my recovery with sex. I was crying by the time he ended the sentence and said, "I'm fine. The doctors say sex is fine." But he was already walking into the bathroom and turning on the shower. I don't know what to think. Is it the scars? Is the memory of me in a hospital bed unable to even sit up by myself repelling him? I finally am starting to feel good about myself and my body again. And the fact that he won't touch me is really hurting my mental health. It's probably a long shot. But has anyone else experienced this? Update. Thank you again for everyone's kind and thoughtful comments. I read all of them even if I didn't respond. Last night when we got in bed, I curled up next to my husband and held him while I said basically, "We've been through a lot. Would you be willing to get therapy with me to make sure everything is all right for both of us? I love you so much. And I don't want any underlying trauma to affect our relationship." He was silent for about 10 seconds. And then the floodgates opened. I've only seen him cry once or twice in our entire relationship at our wedding, and the first time, I told him I loved him. But I held him while he sobbed for what was probably an hour. He kept apologizing for it. And I had to keep saying, "Don't be sorry, I'm here, cry if you need to cry." And I shed some tears of my own. It was an exhausting, but ultimately extremely cathartic experience. When it was all over, and he was able to say more than a few words, he told me that there was about 15 minutes when he was sure he had just heard the love of his life die. Then we got to the hospital, and the doctors made it clear they would do everything they could, but the extent of my injuries was extreme and severe. Then he spent hours calling family members, waiting, pacing, and trying to grapple with the fact that I might die and he might be alone. Then I spent 5 days in the ICU, mostly unconscious. He said he's never known fear like that in his life. In the end, we agreed to go to individual and couples therapy and even touched on the sex thing, wherein he admitted that he knows objectively nothing bad will happen to me if we have sex, but for some reason, it is sparking this protective instinct that makes him want to treat me like glass. So we're working on it, and our marriage is amazing. He's the love of my life, and we can get through this. I 24 don't want to come off as weird to my apparent guardian angel 40. Also, I think based on a lot of your suggestions, it might make me feel good if I got him a gift. Early on in our friendship, he and I connected on our mutual love for fishing. He is an avid spin fisherman, and I love fly fishing, and actually I am very good at it. He mentioned to me that he'd love to learn to fly fish one day, but never has. Would it be cool if I bought him a nice fly rod and reel and just added a PS to the note that I'll gladly teach him how to fly fish someday? Or would that be weird? Let me know. Also, anyone know any good psychiatrists? Thanks for all your feedback, observations, kind words, and advice, everyone. Most of my life after high school has been me skipping from job to job, either because of my inability to perform the job, laziness, or just plain rudeness on my part. This probably all has a lot to do with a lack of a good relationship with my father. I have struggled, even in childhood, to find anything I'm passionate about. Often when I try something new, I will get really excited about it, and then be done with it after a week or two. This pattern has led to severe depression and terrible relationships in most parts of my life. I have a few friends who are close and supportive, but they are so keenly aware of how untrustworthy I am, just because I change my mind about who I am and what I believe so often. About a year and a half ago, I went to get my hair cut at a barbershop near my house. I had recently become miserable in my latest endeavor, teaching music. I had never met the barber, and he had never met me, but he asked me a few questions, and I grudgingly answered. He stopped cutting my hair, looked me in the eye, and said, "You just need to be a barber." I laughed, and he reiterated, "No, I'm serious. There's a school right down the street. You need to be a barber." Flash forward a year and a half. I've graduated barber school, and I have a job cutting hair. I've never been more excited or passionate about anything in my life, aside from getting married. The process of getting to this point has been insanely difficult, but also extraordinarily fulfilling. I've never felt this way. It's like no matter how much life sucks, I always have comfort in knowing that I'm on a road to becoming a better barber. To put it simply, this is the first time I've stuck with anything for more than 8 months, and I feel like I'm just scratching the surface. During every step of the process of becoming a barber, this man has been like a guardian angel. He not only directed me to the school, but somehow got my tuition rate lowered by speaking with the school owner without my knowledge. He encouraged me every time I felt unsure or afraid, and let me stand next to him for hours on end at his shop and taught me everything I didn't get to learn at school, tricks of the trade and his special secrets that he's learned over the years. My wife, I know, unbelievable that I'm married given my background, right? Was ready to divorce me and break up with me. But this man and his wife counseled us and helped us make it through the year of barber school. As the icing on the cake, he secured a job for me, cutting right next to him at his brother's barbershop. This is just a sampling of the pure graciousness this person has shown me. Every time I'm around him, I want to express to him how thankful I am and how I want to make him proud. It's like he's the father I never had, but for some reason, I'm afraid that he will be put off if I thank him. I'm not sure what it is. I feel like I owe this man everything that I care about. If it weren't for him, I'd be working at McDonald's, single, and probably suicidal. No hate for McDonald's workers, it's just not for me. I just want to show him that his grace has not been taken for granted. I want to make him proud. I know this is probably really lame for this sub, but it's so hard for me to wrap my head around how to repay him or thank him without coming off as weird. He has a son of his own, and I don't want to make him uncomfortable by making him feel like I look at him like a father figure. I don't know if that's wrong or not. Any advice is welcome. Please update. Thank you so much for all of the advice and kind words. You guys are great. I've been very hesitant to use Reddit up until now, but you guys have proven my skepticism wrong. I've decided I most definitely should write a letter for sure explaining how much he has helped me and how grateful I am. I think it's probably best to avoid any strange verbiage like father figure or guardian angel, just because I don't want to make myself uncomfortable more than anything.